Import Mode, Adding Clearspan User via Spreadsheet. This is part 4 of the 5-part tutorial describing the process of adding Clearspan users using the import mode. This is accomplished by using a spreadsheet to import the data. The benefit of using a spreadsheet is to reduce the input time when many users need to be added or otherwise manipulated. Basic OpEasy Administrator David will now add multiple Clearspan users via the import mode. As we start this part of the tutorial, the Basic OpEasy Administrator is on the user screen and has performed a search to see all the users. By selecting the Import function button, you will receive the Import Input screen. You will then need to select the Get Worksheet function button in order to import a default worksheet to the local computer. After selecting the Get Worksheet, you will receive the File Download dialog box. Here you will select the Open function button in order to open the Excel spreadsheet. You may receive an additional Excel warning saying the Office File Validation has detected a problem. This pop-up is presented because the system recognizes there are invalid characters, such as blanks, within the spreadsheet columns where data is supposed to exist. There is no need for concern, and we expect the columns to be blank in a new or fresh worksheet. Let's take a moment to explore the worksheet. Starting at the top, the name of the worksheet is shown as Clearspan Import _ followed by the administrator's logon, in this case David, followed by brackets with a number. This format will be followed for all Get Worksheet retrievals unless you have saved to another name. The cell that contains NPA-NXX can be ignored in most cases. It is useful when a Clearspan solution is replacing a key system installation where only 3 or 4-digit extensions existed. For these type installations, a user's 3 or 4-digit extension must be padded with the digits for NPA-NXX to create a 10-digit number. The worksheet allows OpEasy Administrator to replace the NPA-NXX with 6 or 7 digits that will become the padded extension. With the NPA-NXX in place, the user can specify just the extension in the phone number column. Upon validation, the digits in the NPA-NXX will pre-append the extension everywhere the 10-digit phone number is used. The Update At will always show Not Yet Loaded when looking at a Clearspan import worksheet. However, once a spreadsheet is processed, a result spreadsheet will be generated, and the result spreadsheet will replace the Not Yet Loaded with the process date and time. The version identifies the spreadsheet version. This spreadsheet version is the spreadsheet version provided with OpEasy 3.3. It is helpful to track the version numbers because the OpEasy version is upgraded, and it is likely the spreadsheet versions will also be upgraded, and the lower version spreadsheets may not be forward compatible. To the right of these columns are the enterprise name and group name columns. The OpEasy Administrator is not able to issue a Get Worksheet until the enterprise and group has been determined. Thus, when the worksheet is created, it is tied to the enterprise as well as the group. At the top right of the worksheet is the Validate button. This is used to perform validation of the data which is input into the spreadsheet. When using single user mode, the main user add screen is all that is required to be provisioned in order to add a new user. Similarly, when using the import mode, the blue section of the user worksheet is all that is required to be data filled in order to add a new user. Let's take a moment and look at each of the columns. Command. Use the drop down to select either Add, Remove, or Done in regards to the action that should be taken on this row of data. The Done button simply means no process of rows at or below the Done row will be attempted. Last name. Input the last name of the user. Most characters are accepted, except for the first character cannot be the plus symbol. The combination of the first and last name must be at least 5 characters. First name. Input the first name of the user. Again, most characters are acceptable except for the plus symbol. and the combination of the first and last name must be at least 5 characters. Email address. Enter the email address for the user. The address must contain the @ symbol or @ sign. Use the drop-down to select a department if applicable. Otherwise, the default is none. Phone number. Enter a valid number that exists on the Clearspan system. This number must not be in use by another device. User profile. Use the drop-down to select a profile. Typically, an advanced OpEasy administrator will set up the user profiles in place prior to the basic OpEasy administrator coming to this point in the spreadsheet. The user profile contains the technical information that, when combined with the data from the other columns in this section of the worksheet, it will complete the user build. The advanced user will name the profiles in a descriptive manner so that the basic user can easily identify and select the appropriate profile. Voicemail account. Use the drop-down to specify whether the user has voicemail and the type of voicemail notification that is applicable. Voicemail password. This password must be filled in if voicemail is in use, as it allows entry to the voicemail portal. Clearspan password. This password is used to allow the user to access their web portal if authorized. Physical location. Enter any text to describe the physical location of this user phone device. This field is used for 911 purposes, so providing an accurate description is highly advisable. Let's now take a look at OpEasy Administrator David creating the Clearspan user Steve Becker with the same privileges as he did when using single user mode. So David will fill in the blue section of the worksheet as follows. Command, add. Last name, Becker. First name, Steve. Email address, steve.becker@maytown.com. Department, engineering. Phone number, 222-123-2010. User profile, 57i Office. Voicemail account. We're going to select no voicemail in this instance. Voicemail password, therefore, can be left blank due to the fact that we are not equipping this user with voicemail. Clearspan password for Clearspan web portal, 123456. Phone location, 52 Rocky Ford Road. As we can see in the comparison with the single user mode, these are the exact same fields with the exception of command that we used in the single user mode for creation of Steve Becker earlier. However, to better illustrate the ability to add multiple users when using import mode, Administrator David wishes to add 2 additional users to the worksheet. For these users, voicemail will be used, so voicemail account and voicemail password columns will be filled in accordingly. On the next line in the worksheet, then, we will input the command add, last name Burke, first name Lisa, email address lisa.burke@maytown.com, the phone number 222-123-3050, the user profile 39i Office, voicemail account, voicemail email notification, voicemail password 123456, Clearspan password 123456, and the location Sublet Road. On the next line, we will select add, the last name Littleman, first name Myron, email address Myron Littleman, department, engineering, phone number 222-123-3051. The user profile, again, for this example, I will select 39i Office. Voicemail account, voicemail, no notification. Voicemail initial password 123456. Clearspan password 123456. And the physical location, St. Mary's Road. In the next column, we will go ahead and select Done as the command. However, it's not necessary to do this. This is a good practice to prevent the spreadsheet from executing other commands that might exist in saved spreadsheets below this entry point. Next, select the Validate button to validate the user input data into the spreadsheet. If the validation is successful, two things will happen. First, the status column is updated for each row where a command other than the done was issued. As you can see here, for each column, you see the OK status. The second item, the voicemail worksheet, will be created. If you notice now, there is a user worksheet and a voicemail worksheet. This worksheet contains the voicemail information per user based on the selections made in the voicemail account on the user worksheet. If no voicemail is selected, then no entry will exist for that user. As you see in this example, there are only 2 entries for voicemail. This is due to the fact that Steve Becker was initially set under the User tab for no voicemail. If no problems exist following the validation, save the spreadsheet locally so that it can be later referenced for import. In this case, the spreadsheet is saved as Clearspan import _ David parentheses open 1 parentheses closed .xls. Note if the validation fails, a red X with a yellow background will appear in the status box, as well as the column with the invalid data will be highlighted in yellow. Correct the columns highlighted and validate again to get the OK status before proceeding. Let's take a look at an example of a failure on an import spreadsheet validation. Note the second entry indicates a failure in the status column. The highlighted user profile column indicates the failure is due to invalid data, or in this case, the lack of data. To correct the problem, use the drop-down to make a selection, then run the validation again to update the status. Since to this point the import took place on the local PC, the information is stored on that PC's local drive. The next step is to import that information into the Clearspan system via the OpEasy import option. This is achieved by selecting the Browse button located on the import screen, locating the file that was saved earlier, in this case the Clearspan import _ David parentheses open 1 parentheses close .xls file. Once the file is located, then you can select the Start button to begin the process of importing the spreadsheet into OpEasy. At this point, the execution will take place in OpEasy software to initiate the installation of the data records into the Clearspan system. It's important to verify no failures occurred during this process. As you can see here, the worksheet user summary says 3 commands were processed with 0 failures, and then for the worksheet voicemail, 2 commands were executed with 0 failures. Failures must be addressed prior to proper operation of these Clearspan users. Let's now take a moment to look at the results spreadsheet. This is achieved by selecting Retrieve the Last Result function button on the import screen. Note at the top of the spreadsheet, the file name is Clearspan import results followed by the OpEasy administrator login's name. The spreadsheet name created when you use the Get Worksheet is Clearspan _ followed by OpEasy administrator's login name. This distinction allows you to keep the spreadsheets used for import separate from those for show results. On the results spreadsheet, note that the date and time is displayed following the uploaded @ indicator. It is a good practice to save all results spreadsheet as a record of adds, deletes, and changes that have been performed. Also note on the user worksheet, the status column now shows success. This is an indication that the command was successfully performed. Also, you will note the error column for each user now shows no errors. You should expect that if the leftmost status column shows success, then the rightmost error column should also be blank, but it is a good practice to check both. Now open the voicemail worksheet and look for the status of the voicemail manipulation for the users. As you can see here, the status column shows success as well for the voicemail entries. In this table, the rightmost column is the error column also. Scroll to the right and confirm the error column for each user row indicates no errors as shown here. Any errors that occur need to be addressed by the administrator. At the import screen, rather than using the download results button to view the results of the spreadsheet, the user may provide an appropriate email address in the email address field as shown here. Then select the email results button to have a copy of the results spreadsheet sent to the specified email address. After the email is sent, the screen updates with blue text, Import Results File Sent. On the lower left section of the screen is shown. Note that this application does not validate the email address. If the email address is not valid, the message in blue will still be presented because the attempt was made to send the email. This concludes this tutorial for basic OpEasy user interface.